Previously on Techie is Soup. But here I ask you, the audience, what should I do with it? Should I use it as a travel router using OpenWRT, or should I use it as something like a travel PC with Puppy Linux or TinyCore Linux, aka any Linux distribution? You be the judge, give me ideas. Welcome back. It has been approximately 4 days since we recorded that video, so let's go ahead and check the comments. So we got a whopping 3 comments, and we're just going to go in order of what I'm going to test. Number 1, random user said that we should use it for managing some cameras. So I'm assuming that they would mean something like Home Assistant, which would be nice. It probably would run it, but I don't have any cameras, so we're just not going to be able to do that, I suppose. Sorry. Johnny Boy asked if we could use it for emulation, and that we will do, my good sir. We're going to be testing around PS2. We're not going to be doing some crazy stuff like Xbox 360 because this cannot handle it. So I narrowed it down to 5 main things I want to test out. Number 1, PS2. Wait a minute. Don't believe a single word coming from this buffoon's mouth. The real things we're going to be testing are DS, SNES, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, N64, PS1, and most importantly for you, Johnny Boy, PS2. The last comment was from Jonah Michael, who asked if we could use it as a router, which is what I initially bought it for, so great minds think alike. And a quick little side tangent, I found this out from some dude recommending this as a cheap router. I found out the only person talking about this machine other than myself right now is the same dude. He has like a whole forum post, he's active on the forums, he has his own review. It is absolutely crazy what this dude is doing, but this is an underrated mini PC. I mean, for 20 bucks, you can't ask for more, honestly. Now, I think it's a given that we dive deep into the actual specs. So, it has a dual-core processor. It is an Intel Atom from 2013, which has 2 cores, 2 threads, so no hyper-threading, and it is running 1.33 gigahertz, has like 1 megabyte of L2 cache. This thing is actually pathetic by modern standards, but hey, maybe we can take a blast of the past and it can still do something. It also came with 4 gigabytes of DDR3 SODIMM memory, but we upgraded it to 8 gigabytes to give it the best fighting chance. And it also came with this random mSATA drive that has 32 gigabytes of capacity, so we're also going to be benchmarking that to see how good is it. But without further adu, let's start emulating. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is the first boot, and we are going to see what happens. Because last time, I couldn't boot into the BIOS, so we're just going to see what happens. Oh, brother, this thing is slow. Yo. So, first problem we encountered, Ventoy was not working, so we decided to become cavemen and actually flash ISO images onto USB drives. I mean, who does that when Ventoy exists? So, after we did that, we used Antics originally. However, there were some errors with some packages, and I was way too lazy to figure all that out. So, we decided to steer off course and started using Ubuntu, which took a while to set up originally. Install took about, give or take, an hour. And once we got everything installed, it booted perfectly, and then we installed RetroArch, and everything just worked out fine, and it was a beautiful experience. So now the games either fit into one of 2 categories. Either they were completely unplayable, and you got some unexpected reactions. Just got a text from Dave & Buster's. Oh, dude, this is gonna take forever. Release me. Release me. Oh, dude. Oh. Yo, Johnny Boy, why would you make me do this? I really hope this does work because I spent a long time trying to troubleshoot it, so, if we came this far, we might as well keep going. But, oh, what's going on? Alright, we're rocking 7 FPS. If you optimize this, you could probably get around like 20, 30. But honestly, it's still not going to be a great experience. Like, no matter what you do, we're getting a solid 5 FPS. So, I think it's safe to call it that this thing is just not going to run. Oh boy. Well, moral of the story, this thing does not run well at all. Or alternatively, they actually worked somewhat well, and you got some pretty good reactions. But it's playable. It's about like what I'd expect from a school Chromebook, but it's definitely playable at least. I'd expect it to run a lot worse if that's even possible. Nope. But it definitely is very delayed, if I do have to say so myself. Don't kill me. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, this thing runs at about 40 FPS, give or take. And that's relatively playable. It's not the best experience in the world, but I mean, it's a dual core processor, so what can you expect, really? Oh, we're starting to feel it. But little known fact, this thing is oh, and okay. Yeah. If I die, by the way, I'm just gonna quit. If he throws me off, I'm actually gonna get mad. Oh, I didn't know he did that. What? How do you beat? No, please. I'm sorry. Yeah, I quit, but hope you enjoyed the gameplay, guys. Dude, we actually have a winner. His ring hit. Yo. Dude. 60 FPS. I never thought I'd see the day. Dude, we're doing 78 FPS. It's gorgeous. 119? Guess nobody's here yet. Hey there. I'm glad. Bro's digging for gold. Like, bro. Dude, we get actual gameplay in a Takey suit video. This is generational. Alright. Steal. Attack. And we're all jumping him. Attack, attack, attack. Was a big dude all along. Oh shoot, this is one of our homeboys. Master man. Now, how does this thing fare for an emulation box? If you were to emulate stuff, from Game Boy Advance downwards, maybe PS1 if you want, it would possibly work. I just ran everything out of the box, so you could probably optimize and tweak some settings. However, would you be able to run PS2? Maybe some games, but I really don't have too much time to test out every single game, so I'll just kind of rule that stuff out. But for 20 bucks, you can't really complain. So while I still had Lubuntu on this, I tried to run some benchmarks, and these are the stats. They're okay, but they're honestly about the same speeds as a Gen 3 USB drive, so that's pretty bad by today's standards. But it's okay for router emulation use. Not bad at all. I decided to benchmark up my Gen 3 USB drive just to see, and they're about the same, so honestly, good job. Good job. You did good for the time. Now, trying to benchmark the CPU was its own different ballgame because of how gosh darn slow it was. The actual benchmark was trying to get things running, and spoiler alert, none of the benchmarks ran. So, I'll just take passmark score, and moral of the story, it's pretty bad. So now, I think it's time we move on to our next quest, and that is to turn this thing into a router. We're going to be using Open the VRT because that is one of the most lightweight router operating systems that I know. I think it's now a good time to mention that this is the Lanner NCA-1010b, and it has 3 Intel-based ports, as well as a console port, so that played a major role in me buying it initially, but I got sidetracked with a different mini PC with more horsepower. Go watch that video if you haven't. Now, the actual install wasn't too bad. We just had to boot into Lubuntu live environment, download Open the VRT. We downloaded EFI by accident. Turns out this thing doesn't even support EFI or UEFI or whatever. It doesn't support it. However, we got everything set up. First install, it was fine. We even managed to access the web GUI, but after we reset the PC, just couldn't access it. It gave me this weird grub thing, which I've never seen before actually. And then I just redid the steps, except I just used the non-EFI version of Open the VRT, and everything works out fine. We did lose BIOS access. The BIOS in this thing is really weird, but moral of the story, it boots into Open the VRT, and we have a working router. But you might be wondering, how are we going to get Wi-Fi? If you notice, this thing doesn't have an antenna. and we are going to be running off hopes and dreams with this USB wireless Wi-Fi thing. We are going to hope this thing works, because if it doesn't, we're just going to have to whip out the big guns and use a spare Deco S4 unit I have lying around. But hopefully this works so we can keep the footprint down and keep it small and portable. It is with sorrow and dread that I report that our 10-year-old $10 USB Wi-Fi antenna does not work, so we're going to be switching to the big guns and using our Deco S4 unit, and that will be working as our wireless access point. So without further ado, let's get into the speed test. During an internet speed test, it reached about 400 megabits per second download and 100 megabits upload, which is about half the download speed we are capable of, because I have a gigabit plan, so it reaches around half the download speed. It can fulfill the upload speed no problem. And power consumption wise, it used around 4 to 5 watts, and same with the Deco S4. So combined, this thing uses around 10 watts of power, which is still pretty low powered for a router. And with that, folks, we have finally reached the end of this video. If you have any questions, comment them down below. With that, I think this mini PC has found its new purpose as my travel router that I will use like one time a year. Like, subscribe, and comment. You have no idea how far this will go. Please, and thank you for watching.